It's the dark, real-life story that's been turned into an equally dark comedy for Netflix. Baby Reindeer follows the story of Donnie, played by the comedian Richard Gadd, it's based on his own experiences of being stalked. And as his stalker, Martha, follows him at work, derails his gigs and bombards him with thousands of messages in his mental well-being totally suffers.
Yeah. Last night, a woman claiming to be the real-life Martha, lawyer Fiona Harvey, was interviewed by Piers Morgan. Some have called the interview irresponsible, but others say she has the right to tell what she says. It's her side of the story. Well, joining us... we've got a bit of a clip, have we? Oh, I'm sorry, we've got a bit of a clip. Here we go.
Well, joining us to discuss this is the broadcaster Claire Muldoon, who says Fiona Harvey should have her voice heard, and Iman Aitan, a social commentator, who says it glamorises stalking. So you believe, Claire, that she has the right to have her voice heard. Tell us why. Oh, sorry, wrong way.
Claire.
Tell us why, sorry.
Yeah. No, I definitely do. I mean, this whole thing is based on a true story. Richard Gadd made that quite clear, as did Netflix at the very beginning of the shows. I watched it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I watched last night's interview. What on earth is glamorisation of stalking? How can you glamorise stalking a man? It's an atrocious thing to do. She needed her right to reply. She got it. She had the legitimacy of capacitance to make the decision, and I think it's quite reductive to play the blame game.
Iman, everyone has the right to reply, surely.
Yeah, so to answer your question, how do you glamorise it? Well, I think, unfortunately, Piers Morgan has ultimately shifted the conversation from being centred around the victim to being centred around the perpetrator. And that is where the issue lies for me, because, let's be honest with ourselves here, I think every single person has the right to reply, but not every single person is afforded the opportunity. And those people that are afforded the opportunity tend to be, I don't know, controversial, influential or trending, and that's because they are likely to lead with getting
You could argue, surely, that they're both victims.
Allow me to just finish, please. And so, ultimately, the reason why I have an issue is because Piers decided in that moment that he wasn't going to focus on the 700,000 victims of stalking from last year. He could have interviewed any number of those victims, but instead he decided to focus on this very specific situation. He decided to hone in on the he said, she said dynamic of it all, whilst actually exposing and exploiting someone that potentially
is it exploitation, Claire? Is there a bit of exploitation in there?
No, because, we don't want to bring... We're not debating the rights and wrongs of Piers Morgan here. Let's just get that clear.
We're talking about the interview.
We're talking about the whole problem of this, Iman.
But he wasn't. It's reductive
to... That's
my point,
Look, I gave you the courtesy, which you demanded. Please do it.
But it is true. It is true, isn't it? The Baby Reindeer presents a kind of slightly equivocal. You see the journey, don't you?
Yes.
How the victim is sucked in, and you see in that elements of both sides.
Yes. Yes, it's a very human story, and it's up to dramatists to portray that drama and give us talking points, and which clearly they're doing, and it's working. 60 million views up to 3 days ago this Netflix show has had. I would argue, would this have the same conflationary around it if it was a woman being stalked by a man? You know, and Michaela Cole made a...
What do you say to that?
I think, again, it comes... But I totally agree, and this was my original point, that we should be focused on the bigger picture as opposed to trying to hone in on one specific scenario to do with Richard and Fiona. That is where the contention lies here. Because if you really cared about the issue, you'd be talking about, like I said, the 700,000 people that were stalked. And so, as far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity for people to exploit and to capitalise off of people's pain, and this is where the contention lies.
Iman, we'll have to leave it there. That was very good. Very good. Thank you, Claire. Do you have to point out very quickly, though, that the writers say this isn't necessarily the depiction of the person we think it is, of Fiona.
Well, it's a very good likeness.